everyone. This is Cynthia with Joyful Creations, and I am excited about starting my YouTube journey. I hope that you will join the ride with me as we hang out together and talk about all things yarn and crocheting. I would like to start my video by introducing myself. I have been crocheting and knitting for about 14 years now. I actually began knitting. I had an aunt that was knitting dishcloths for everyone in the family, and I asked her if she would make some for me, and she said, "How about I teach you?" And so she did, and I would knit everyone who would let me give them a free gift, a knitted dishcloth. It was just very fun and very relaxing and just something, new and exciting. And then I had another aunt that made a crochet blanket for my middle son when he was a newborn. And after 10 years of walking around with that blanket and dragging it everywhere and washing it all the time, it was wearing down and getting some holes in it. So I went online to teach myself how to whip stitch. And so I was able to repair the blanket. But then I thought, well, how cool would it be if I learned to crochet and make another one like it so that he could maybe have two. And so I taught myself online how to crochet, starting with your basic chaining and single crochets and double crochets. And anyway, we went to the store and we were able to find the exact same colors that she used. So we were able to make that blanket just like hers. So he actually had a replica of the first. The only difference is hers looked amazing. And mine being my first project, as with anything, there's always a learning curve and trial and error. Mine had a lot of errors in it. I kept adding a stitch to the end of every row, so it started out nice and straight, and then one day it just started kind of going out this way. And by the time I realized it, I was so embarrassed, and I was like, oh, I'm going to take this apart. And he was like, no. My son's like, Mom, you made that. You made it for me. It was your first. Leave it alone. And for him, he says it was perfectly made because now, the wider end, he likes to put around his shoulders and stuff and really snuggle tight, and then the smaller end around his feet. So he says it's the perfect little snuggle blanket. So I'm glad he has enjoyed it and is still enjoying it today. And he's now 23. So, that was probably in my book, though, my worst project to date. Granted, it was my first project ever. So obviously, we can't do everything well right off the bat. We have to learn how to do things. But that's one that I'm glad he's loving it. I will put a picture of it up here on this video so you can see it. Luckily, you cannot see that one end is wider than the other, but at least you will be able to see what my first project was. So why do I crochet? Number one, I absolutely love it. I love everything about it. I'm obsessed with yarn. I love at this point in my journey that I am discovering new yarns, new textures of yarns, new sizes of yarns. When I first started, I thought, well, yarn is yarn. And oh, so much did I have and still have to learn. And everything is not just single and double crochet. There's so many other techniques and stitches, and I just love learning. I just love being crafty and creative, and so that's another reason that I love crocheting. It's also very relaxing and very calming to me, and it actually helps me sit still. I can be a fidgeter. I love to constantly be moving. My family hates that when it comes time to try and sit down and watch a movie because I'm always up, down, up, down, up, down. And at least if I'm crocheting, I'm occupied. And so I'm content to sit there through the entire movie. So they love that. So moving forward, my favorite project to date would have to be hands down the sweatshirts that I've started making. My middle son came to me about 4 years ago, bless his heart, and asked me if I would crochet him a crochet hooded sweatshirt. At that time in my life, I was making lots of queen size Afghans, And in the end, I ended up making 13 queen size Afghans for one of my neighbors and one double, like full size Afghan for her. So in the end, I made 14 Afghans for her. And as you know, queen size Afghans can take a very long time to do. And that's hard to do when you're a mom of 3 boys and you're married and you have a job. So sometimes it might take me one whole year just to make one blanket. And so I have just recently kind of expanded my skill set and expanded my repertoire of what I do, partly because I've put myself on sabbatical from making Afghans at the moment. And so I have really enjoyed making these sweatshirts. I finally did make the one for my son. It was the first one I made. He wanted it to have kind of a Southwestern Aztec look to it. And so that is how I designed it. He loves it. I'm so thrilled that he loves it. I'm so thrilled that it turned out as well as it did. And I'll put a picture of it up here on this video so you can see it. And I think I've even got one that I can show you with him wearing it. And then I made this one here that you see. And this one is for my youngest son's girlfriend. And so I do want to make one for my youngest son, my oldest son, and his wife. And so who knows, maybe we'll just craft one up together. And so my hardest project to date would be the very last Afghan that I made for my neighbor. And she wanted it a solid white. And I was like, oh my, one color to my colorway. And that big of a blanket, I was like, I'm never going to get through this. So I really kind of put some thought into it. You know, what can I do that will encourage me to keep moving forward with this blanket and be able to make, you know, stitch after stitch being white, 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 white. So I thought, well, what better way to expand my skill set and learn new stitches? And so that's what I did. I created the blanket in segments and tried different stitches and put it together. And it was beautiful. It was very, very difficult to give away or to sell, I guess I should say. So anyway, and in fact, I've got a picture of it right here for you. So you can also enjoy that beautiful blanket. I was so proud of it. So that kind of brings you a little bit full circle of me and how I got started crocheting. I do knit a little bit, but most of the time I am definitely a crocheter. And so what better time than now to show you maybe some of the things that I have been able to do over the last year since I have been on sabbatical from making Afghans. So the first one I'm going to show you is a baby blanket that I made. And I did it in the corner to corner pattern. And I absolutely love these colors. They're very bright and vibrant, very playful, which is good for a baby. And then to finish that off, oh, and let me just show you, I just did like a little scallop border on it. It's just something kind of very simple, but yet giving it that nice finished look. And then I created a little hat to go with it. And again, this was something new. I had never made pom-poms before. And so they were actually fun to make. I have a very fond memory of pom-poms. I grew up in the 80s. And of course, if you are an 80s child, we all love to roller skate. And my sweet mama made me some really cool pom-poms to wear on my skates. And she made me a couple different colored ones so I could even swap them out. So as I made those, that was just a really cool flashback to my childhood of a fond memory. And then I made these cute, cute, cute little booties. And they have pom-poms on them too. And I just thought they were so cute. This is a very, very soft yarn. It is by Mandela Ombre, and it is a size 4 weight medium yarn, and it is 100% acrylic, and it is the colorway Happy. Oops, there we go. Can you see that? So very, very pretty colors, very soft too. All right, so that was one project. And then another project was another baby blanket that I did. And I used a smaller hook with this one, so it took a little bit of time to make. Just kind of hold that up a little bit. And again on this one, I made a scallop stitch, but I extended it out a little bit first by doing a little V-stitch. So it kind of made it more of a little bit of a lacy effect. And this is a really, really soft, soft yarn. It's a DK color yarn, and I'll show that to you in a minute. And with this, I made 2 hats and 2 different types of booties. This is the first little hat that I made, and put a little heart on there. So, whoops, turn it that way. And then I made another little hat, a little different style, and that's what it looks like on the top. And just gave it kind of a little crochet scallop border. So those are 2 different hats. And then I made these little sock booties to go with it. And then they can be extended up, or they can be cuffed down. So, and then these I'm really proud of. And I hope that I can figure out how to attach links to my video. I will eventually, and if I don't with this one, I do want to give credit to people whose patterns I follow to do things. I'm going to do my very best to learn how with even this video to attach those links. But if I don't, please, please forgive me, but let me definitely give these people the credit. And these cute little booties, but they are so adorable. And I love that little bow on them. I don't know if you can see that bow right there. But they are so cute. And the yarn that I used for that, like I said, was a DK color, or DK colors. And it is a light 3 weight yarn. And it is the colorway Teacup. But really pretty colors. Very, very soft and plush. Perfect, perfect for a baby blanket, even a shawl, especially like a light, airy summer shawl. So that was that. And another baby blanket that I made. I've already got it wrapped up. And this is extremely soft. It's like hugging a stuffed animal. But this is a parfait layer yarn. And it is the colorway Peachy Keen. And it is a bulky 5 weight yarn. And it's 100% polyester. And it says machine wash, warm, dry, flat. And on that DK Colors, that is actually 100% anti-pilling acrylic yarn. All right. And another project I've done recently is this hat. I had a coworker who gave me this skein of yarn. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it because there wasn't, wasn't a big size skein. And so I decided to make a hat with it, and I absolutely love it. It's a really pretty colorway on that. And I love the little gold sparkles. I hope you can see those gold sparkles in it. And this is another one of the people that I love following, Crystal from Bag a Day. This is one of her patterns. And that's probably something I can share with you. I do love following Jada Stitches. I follow Creative Grandma, Crystal from Bag a Day. Love Krista from Secret Yarnery. Love Seta from Seta's Place. So the last two projects I'm going to show you are shawls that I made for two of the older women in our church for Valentine's Day. And I'm really excited. This was the first time I'd ever made a shawl. And so the first one was the first one I made. And then the second one I'm going to show you is the second one I made. And I was really happy. I actually made both of these in 1 week. So they were very easy and quick to make up. It took me about 3 days to make each one. And that was working on it, just a little bit each day. So here is the first shawl that I made. And I love those colors. And I use the Mandela Ombre. And it is actually in the colorway Cool Freud. Let me show you this in better. And it is a medium 4-weight yarn. It is 100% acrylic, machine washable and dryable. And that pattern actually used a lot of double crochets and chains to make. So it was a very simple, it was a 2-row repeat type pattern. So it was very easy. And I love those colors. And I hope that she's going to like it too. And that's what it looks like from the front. And if they wanted, they could also make it into a, kerchief type scarf to wear in the front. And I'll show you what I mean. And there you go. And so the next one I did in this color, and it's by Red Heart Super Saver Ombre. And I'm going to show you the name because I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. It's Anemone. Anemone? Anemone, maybe? But it is really pretty. And it actually has a knitted scarf pattern on there. So who knows? I may try and pull out my knitting needles. Have to look for them, and give that a try. And there it is. And then I just trimmed it with some white Red Heart yarn. It was a lot of fun. And I'll show you what it looks like if they wanted to do it in kind of like a cowl scarflet on the front. And there it is. Well, I hope you've liked this video, and if you have, I appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. And if you want to catch all my other videos and live chats, be sure and hit subscribe so you don't miss out on those. And until next time, keep something on your hook and be crafty in your own way. Bye.